we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Do we have any amendments? I got the paper copy and the digital one, but I didn't notice any differences.
Yeah,
So, no amendments to the agenda. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Vote by roll call.
all right. Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
All right. So moving on, we got public comment. If there's anybody in the attendees that wishes to make public comment, you should have a little button there to raise your hand. We'll go ahead and give you a second or two to do that. I am not seeing any hands raised. So we have no visitors. So we will move on to the consent agenda. Everybody have the opportunity to read through the minutes and all that good stuff. Any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, any of that? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
I'm going to abstain since I was not present.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger,
Aye.
and motion passes 5 and 1 abstain.
So no public hearing, no old business, new business. First item, we have resolution 13-21, resolution correcting water and sewer rates for the city of Aumsville. I mean, I think everybody saw in the packet, it's just a correction from the numbers that were initially presented. Is there anything special you want to say about that one, Ron?
No, there's a couple of small corrections of a few pennies, which we wouldn't even have corrected had it not been for we inverted a number in a column that needed to be reversed. So that was really the big change.
So if there's no discussion, do we have a motion? You're muted, Walter.
I move to approve resolution number 13-21, correcting water and sewer rates effective June 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2022.
A second?
Second.
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
All right, next we got resolution 14-21, resolution extending the city of Aumsville's workers' compensation coverage to volunteers of the city of Aumsville for policy year 2021-2022. This is, I mean, just our coverage for volunteers for city events. We did the same thing last year, I believe, as well. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns about that? It's pretty straightforward stuff.
We adopt this resolution each year. It's just a housekeeping item. That's why there's not really a staff report. It's just so that we can get coverage for volunteers.
So we have a motion.
I move to approve resolution 14-21, a resolution extending the city of Aumsville's workers' compensation coverage to volunteers of the city of Aumsville for policy year 2021-2022 as presented.
You have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote.
Next, we have the approval for purchase of a replacement CO2 generator for the wastewater treatment plant. If I'm not mistaken, this is the generator that runs our chlorinating system, correct?
Correct.
So was there anything specific that you wanted to say, Ron? I mean, we all have it in our packet, but
No, it's just we've been having some issues with it, and it's quite old. And what we found is we can't get parts anymore for it. And so our concern is if it goes down, we're gonna have a problem getting it back up in a timely manner. And it was on the list for an upgrade anyway, so we just thought it was timely. We just needed to get it done.
yeah, and I think with what happened with that plant up in like Lakeview or whatever it was, yeah, I mean that kind of highlights that this is something that probably needs to happen. So did anybody have
Stay
any
ahead of it.
questions or concerns or comments or anything? I mean, really the price on this one was, what was it, 28,000, something like that?
$28.99.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's not something that's astronomical by any means. I think it was something that was
No,
already kind of budgeted for.
And typically this would even fall under a replacement or maintenance schedule, but we weren't in a hurry. It was just something that we thought needed to be proactive on. And so I like to bring these in before council just to keep you in the loop, but also to get approval if we've got time to do it. So.
Cool. Nobody has anything. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the purchase of a CL2 generator for the WWTP at a cost of $28,099 from Fund 19-601 as presented by staff.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Cazares,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote.
All right, moving on. Talking about the new pump skid. This was another thing that I think was just kind of a replacement or maintenance item.
Yeah.
This one's what,
Basically, we're just-
9,400 and change.
Yep, we're having more and more problems with this pump and outdated. We're kind of babying along, so we wanted to get it replaced, make it more reliable.
And I mean, at $10,000, that price point, like we're probably spending just as much time in labor keeping this thing running over the course of a year. So
It's exactly.
yeah. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? We have a motion.
Move to approve the purchase of Pro Minute chemical feed system for $9,440 from Fund 012-809 as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Cazares,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
And that is unanimous.
All right. Moving on. Ron, your report.
Yeah, I don't really have a report. I do have one discussion item that I wanted to run by council, and that had to do with park rentals. Currently, we don't reserve most of our park facilities unless it's a group larger than 75 people. And with that, we require a insurance policy to name the city as additional insured. Looking at this program, there's a lot of our facilities are underutilized that could be utilized. We have a lot of requests that people that come in that just want to have, a birthday party with 10 or 15 people. They want to reserve the shelter so they can send out invitations, but our current policy just doesn't allow for a group that small. And the reason behind that is because of the insurance waiver. We've just found most people with a group that small don't want to go out and get an insurance policy, and the city's always wanted that. I've kind of talked to our insurance agent. I've talked to CIS about this issue. And really the risk for the city is very small. with things like the picnic shelters, because all we're reserving is the shelter. If they go out and play in the park or get in the creek, recreational immunity kicks in because that's not part of the rental. So unless the shelter collapsed on somebody, or there was something there that created a hazard, the city's not really liable. And in most cases, we find we're not liable in these cases anyway. What the insurance policy from the renter does for us is it puts their insurance company in first line. So they kind of have to vet the viability of a claim. Our insurance company would do the same thing in parallel, but it just kind of puts them first in line. I would like to go ahead and put all those facilities into the rotation. I'd like to drop the insurance requirement or the large capacity down to 50, which puts it in line with what we did with the special event permit that we have. And we've identified places where people can go buy these policies. But I think for groups of under 50, it seems to me the liability is low. And if council's willing to accept that amount of liability, then what we'd do is we'd restructure the park rental program not to require insurance with groups that small. We charge $25 a non-refundable rental fee, and that just covers the staff time to make the reservation and to keep track of it on the calendar and take the reservations. Our requirements would remain the same for the community center. We wouldn't change those because obviously there's increased liability there. But I wanted to ask council how they felt about that, if that was something they were interested in pursuing. We're getting ready to open the facilities back up to reservations. I'm not sure how many we'll get at the end of this year because we've kind of missed the peak season, but I'm sure that there's a number of people that we still have inquiries for these various facilities.
I think it's a fabulous idea.
So, I mean, I don't really have any questions. Does anybody have anything?
Yeah, I really like the idea of letting smaller groups reserve that. There was a time when I wanted, before COVID, when I wanted to reserve it, and it was only like for 20 people, and I couldn't do it. So I like the idea of being able to reserve it for smaller groups.
Anybody else? It
Do it, Ron.
sounds like we're probably all in agreement. I mean, it does create a small amount of liability, but it's nothing that's too pressing or concerning. And really, the benefit is allowing people to use the parks that they're paying for that much easier. So I'm all for it. I mean, even our fundraiser event that we did, obviously we had insurance because we were doing some physical events, but that's just one more hurdle that people have to go through to use the park. So I'm cool with it. Does anybody want to make a motion? Or do you want a motion, Ron, or does it just kind of this is one of those head nods things?
If you approve what I outlined in my staff report, if your motion could just be approve what was outlined in the staff report, under the way our ordinances are written, I have the authority to implement it now, but I would put together the policy on our master fee schedule. I can implement it without changing the fee schedule now, but I would put that on there and come back at another council meeting with an update to the fee schedule.
Do you want us to just approve all of it when we approve the fee schedule then, and just give you the head nod to go forward with the work right now?
Well, yeah, the only thing is we do have people calling, and I don't want to continue. We've just had so many people calling. I'd like to be able to accommodate them, but I can come back at the next council meeting. 2 weeks or 3 weeks won't make a difference. It's up to you.
If someone wants to make a motion, I'm not opposed to it.
I move
to approve. I'll let Dell do it.
move to approve that we change the policy to the reservations in the large facility to 50 or more for getting insurance waivers and fees, and reservations for under 50 for just the reservation fees.
Seconded.
Roll by roll call.
Counselor Casares,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
I have nothing else to report at this moment, only that we're progressing as well as we can progress, and we're dealing with situations as they come up. Our event planning is moving forward and with good success. I'm feeling really good about the summer programs.
And we got the email Ron sent out just in the communities where we got quite a few new sponsors rolling in for Corn Fest. So that's fantastic. Hopefully we will get a couple more. Does anybody have any reports, anything for the good of the order, any of that kind of stuff? So I've got two things. First, I know I originally said I was going to be home for most of the summer, but that seems to have changed. As of right now, I will be gone July 15th through the 23rd ish, give or take a day or two, in Benin. That will be, I believe we have a meeting scheduled for the 19th. I should be able to make that meeting, provided that I have adequate internet, which I don't believe will be an issue. And then I will be home for about 2 weeks, and I will be gone August 6th, potentially through the 16th. I think I will actually come back earlier than that. But that would be the meeting that we have scheduled over the 9th. Again, provided I have decent internet, that shouldn't be an issue. I will be in Sudan. But that's just keeping everybody up to date on all that stuff with me. I did get a message from a community member today that I wanted to bring up and discuss in regards to the skate park. So the past couple of years, a lot of community members have gotten together and taken time to go and fill cracks in the concrete and paint and kind of spruce the area up. So this community member was really just kind of inquiring what the possibility is of having some more direct city involvement in that. I don't know what we're looking at, budget wise, but it is just typical upkeep of the parks. And I know the past several years, community members have just kind of taken it upon themselves, and we've helped to facilitate that.
Yeah, Mayor, we probably would, just FYI, we actually had a maintenance program scheduled to come in and look over the skate park until this group came forward, and we wanted to support the group. Afterwards, as we looked at some of the things, there were some concerns raised that might be concerns insurance-wise of having individuals go in and grind on metal and things like that in the park. And then those are things that, when you create a liability, then unfortunately recreational immunity, that's the one out for recreational immunity. And so I think in the future, I probably wouldn't want to have just groups going in there and doing that kind of maintenance. I mean, maybe things like painting or something like that with the city. The general maintenance on it, I think we probably want to get a bonded company in.
Okay.
And we can do that. We had it on a schedule, but then this group came forward and wanted to do some work there. And so we wanted to support that.
Yeah. So I'd say, if we're going to have a bonded company coming into it, I think one, because the group of individuals that use the skate park on the regular, they're a fairly large group and a fairly tight knit group. So I would definitely want to make sure that we are communicating with them adequately. And then two, maybe even, chatting with some of them about, hey, I mean, they're the ones who use it. What are the issues you're saying? Because I mean, I used to skateboard when I was in high school a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But like, if I went out to the skate park, I'd probably be like, oh, this all looks fantastic. I don't really know. So getting some of their input, I would definitely like to try and facilitate that.
Yeah. And I
and
do
then,
think
you know,
there's projects that we can coordinate on. We just have to be a little bit more targeted and make sure we're controlling the work. And the group is just not out there doing work without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say, I mean, this group's probably, I mean, that section of the park is, its usage is probably second only to the splash park this time of year. So I definitely want to make sure that we are, you know, keeping up with the upkeep over there, and making sure all of it is usable for them this time of year. So, but it sounds like you're on top of it, Ron. I just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence as far as community like engagement and communication is concerned. So if nobody has anything else, nothing. I don't see anything.
So I kind of want to touch in on the skate park.
Okay.
Growing up, I used to be a skater and I enjoyed it. And we actually, I grew up in Idaho, so I had a different skate park situation. But we had a concession stand where you could, you know, buy drinks and foods or whatnot. And honestly, I don't know if that's feasible to be able to do something like that or not. It could also opportunity for a community service type situation where you have people who actually run the concession stand and earn maybe high school fun, or credits, or maybe even community service. So I don't know if that's something that we could possibly do.
Well, the only feedback I can give, obviously we can do what, you know, any program that we want to try, we can try. The only feedback I would give is we tried, the Exchange Club tried doing concessions for movies in the park, which is kind of a captive group that you would think you would do really well at. And what we found is the cost of the supplies minus the sale for a limited group like that equals a pretty small amount of money, and it really wasn't worth their time over the 3 or 4 hour period that they would do that. It, you know, the profit on it was just not large enough. And then how much can you sell something for? It's kind of hard to sell a soda for $5 to, you know, a family or a group of skateboarders when they know they can get it for $1 at the store. So that was one of the things that we found. It just didn't work out. Now I think it works out. It's more conducive when there's an event. So as an example, if there was a skate competition that drew people in, then I think in those circumstances, it would be conducive to something that would be much more viable. But I think just to have a concession stand out there for that captive audience would probably be counterproductive or cost intuitive, whatever.
Hey, what about talking to you know, some of our vendors during Saturday market or whatever, and see if there's someone who wants to do something like that, or just like open up that possibility, like throw that seed out there and see if it's going to grow at all. If anybody wants to do it, that might be worth exploring.
Yeah, we're constantly courting food vendors for different events. And so, yeah, it's just real tough because even at like a Saturday market, it's hard to get a food vendor because they want to be at the corn festival. That's where they can make a profit. Saturday market, they spend a lot of money and oftentimes it's a break-even point. So
I know several years ago, we actually hosted a skate competition for one of the corn festivals. I think it was, I want to say 2011, 2012, and we had an outside company that sponsored it and ran it. And obviously it would take some coordination and time to do something like that. But I think if we could find something like another situation similar to that, where we could find someone that's reputable to run such an event, sponsor it, you know, that might be a draw for, you know, our community, as well as to be an awesome use of the skate park and bring some attention to it and be able to actually have a food vendor come and maybe even several food trucks and then actually be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, I know a guy. If we want to do that for the Corn Fest, I know a guy that could probably make that happen real quick.
Yeah.
Well, it is on our event planning committee's list of how, expanding the corn festival. Like we kind of felt like we went as far as we could go this year being our first year. And it was something that we really needed to grow into. But listen, council, if you guys want to take something extra on, I think I'd be concerned about staff taking it on this year, but it might be something we can add next year, the year after.
I mean, let me reach out to my guy, because he may just say, hey, I'll run the entire thing, and we just give him a thumbs up.
And you think do it on like Thursday and then do the party in the park on Friday?
I mean, I would say do that Friday during the day, maybe Friday morning into the afternoon, and we're setting up for party in the park or whatever, and then that evening is party in the park.
Yeah.
So I think something like that would actually work fairly easily, because even where we're going to be at for party in the park is the kind of the opposite end of the park over there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be out there all day on Friday, so
Yeah. So let me reach out to my guy, see if that's something he feels like he can facilitate and make happen real quick. And if he can, I mean, the planning won't be on our plate at all. I mean, I know this guy real well, and I think it's something that he's been involved in a number of them. He owns a skate and clothing company downtown. They did some of the shirts that we did for the wildfire relief fund.
okay.
And that's something he may actually be really jazzed about.
Be awesome.
Yeah. The other thing is I think back to Scott's point, I think we do have some roaming vendors that have transient license, like Kona Ice and the Ice Cream Man. And they may even have regular drinks and things with them. One of the things we could do is reach out to them and encourage them to go ahead and go into the park and see if there's anybody that is interested in their products. I think that's perfectly viable. They're already set up for it.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else got anything? If not, I have 7:28. We will go ahead and adjourn the meeting.